So I wanted to bring you here to a really beautiful park by where I live to talk about one of our fundamental principles, and this is the principle of the green zone. So to review, when we think back to what we've learned about the green light and the yellow light and the red light, the point is to return to our natural state of the green light. And that's easier said than done, because when we feel incredibly vulnerable, when we feel incredibly surprised, shocked, thrown, embarrassed, all of these things, it's not so easy. It's easier to say than to do. So that's where we need help. That's where we need help. We need somewhere to come. And a green zone is the place to come with those emotions, those incredibly fragile, vulnerable emotions. When we feel so turned around, we don't know what to do. The last thing we need is to tighten up more, white knuckle it. The last thing we need is to boss ourselves around and say, just deal with it. What we need is help. And a green zone is the definition of help. Now, a green zone, I've brought you here to this beautiful natural place. I like rocks, so this is one of my beautiful natural places. A green zone is anywhere where you naturally relax into who you really are. Now, this could be anything. It could be any context. It could be exercise. It could be music. It could be community. It could be art. It could be, mechanical engineering. I don't know what you're into. So that's the thing, is it doesn't matter. It's whatever brings out the best in you, and it's up to you to figure out what that is. You have to discover what it is that lights you up. And for me, it's been mountains and rock climbing. Since I was a child, it really helped me when I was growing up and there was nowhere to turn, and my own confusion. I had learned to climb mountains when I was about 14. And they were a stable place, a peaceful place, a beautiful place for me to come and bring all that adolescent emotion. That's the thing about a green zone. It's some place that can actually handle what you show up with, no matter what it is. So there's two types of green zone. Now, this is a literal place that happens to be literally here, green. But it doesn't have to be a place. It can be an activity. So you like to do salsa dancing. You like to make pottery. You like to ride horses. It doesn't matter what it is. And it can also be a social situation. So it's certain people in your life that you come to who can handle what you show up with. Not the people that demand that you act a certain way or only say certain things and don't touch on other things. There are those few people in life, and there's not a lot of them, let's be honest. In fact, you may not have anybody like this in your life right now. That's the case sometimes. But keep an eye out for the right kind of person, and you have to really test the waters to see if somebody's that kind of person or people. Sometimes it's a group of friends who can handle whatever you show up with. You can show up as ragged as you've ever been, and they can receive you and with kindness and listen and allow space for those emotions to breathe. But even if you don't have a person or a group of people like that, you can find places like this. This is not a famous park. It's not, you don't have to pay to get in. It's free. It's in a neighborhood. And it's quite lovely, I mean, it's really a special place. You know, sometimes it's just looking up at the blue sky or feeling the rain on your face in the hot summer. So what is that for you? There's two kinds. There's the personal green zone, that's the context. That's the places, that's the activities. Those are things you can do by yourself. Journal writing, you know, reading poetry, literature, whatever that is. Think about it. Think about it. There's things you naturally gravitate towards. And we're not talking about the destructive things. I mean, to make this super obvious, we're not talking about you guzzling vodka. I have nothing against a little vodka if you choose to do that, but we're not talking about you suppressing yourself. We're talking about opening yourself up naturally. So what are those contexts for you? And then who are those people? That's the social green zone, personal and social. Who are those people who naturally you can be yourself with? And for that matter, it's worth noting who you are really not yourself with. And how can you pull back from one situation and walk towards another situation? See what you can do with that. Notice these things in your life. Gravitate towards what feeds you. And the point is not to stay inside your bubble forever. That's definitely not the point. The point is actually for you to gain strength again, to touch into your green light again. That's what a green zone does. Allows you to touch into your green light again. And that will give you the strength to step outside and even go into very tough situations. But you don't want to force yourself into those situations when you're in the wrong state, if you can avoid it. You want to step back, gain strength, touch into your green light again, and then step out into the world and help others.